I'm Brenda.
And I'm Megan.
And we're the Badass Babes of Entertainment.
Let's be renegades, reckless, running through our veins. Let's be renegades, good for nothing, runaways. That girl got her own bag.
So, welcome to the Badass Babes of Entertainment. I'm Brenda Fisher.
And I'm Megan Ketz.
And today we have Angelique Midthunder, an amazing casting director who has really been doing some amazing things out there in Hollywood. But we're really excited because she has her fingers on the pulse of what's going on with the Native Americans and TV that's taking off in film. And I'm just really excited. So welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So I'm going to read a little bit about you so that our audience knows a little bit more. Angelique Midthunder began her career in casting in the mid-1900s. 1900s, I love that. How about 1990s? Let's go with that. After working internationally as an actress and discovering an intrigue for the casting process, Angelique spent many successful years working her way up in Los Angeles. And in 2005, relocated to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where she quickly became one of the Southwest region's preeminent casting directors. Boy, I'm going to have to edit this.
I didn't even write it. I'm like, I don't know either.
I'm like, what the heck? I was going to say preeminent casting directors. In addition to being in casting every character type, Angelique has developed a special niche for casting Indigenous roles and prides herself on preserving integrity in cultural casting while recognizing the value of creative freedom. In 2010, she was nominated alongside Richard Hicks and David Ruben for an Emmy for Outstanding Casting in a Miniseries, Movie, or Special for Georgia O'Keeffe. And in 2017, she was nominated alongside Jeanne McCarthy for the Aritos Award for location casting for Captain Fantastic. She is currently a member of the Casting Society of America and the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Wow, you've done a lot.
And our time's up. Nice to meet you.
I know, that was like, whoa. I love that. So what is the biggest difference from being in LA to being in Santa Fe?
Traffic. Clean
Yes.
Quiet at night. You can see the stars.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just, it was a lifestyle choice. And, it was like as technology was ramping up and emailing and cell phones were such a thing, I was like, this is the wave of the future. I can leave LA and still have a career. So I did. And I'm so glad that I did. It's definitely, like I said, it was a lifestyle choice and I couldn't be happier about it.
That is amazing.
What are the differences as far as like acting and casting in Santa Fe versus LA?
Well, I kind of have, I do both. I do location casting and I do lead casting still. The pandemic's kind of changed everything, right? Because now people aren't in the room anyways. But so now it's just, it's just collecting tapes, whether it's location casting or just, securing the leads where you're just making the offers anyway. I mean, if you're just securing leads, a lot of times you're not even seeing people. Maybe you're arranging meetings or you're talking to agents and attorneys and business affairs. So, a lot of that part, I still stand by the fact that you can do that from anywhere. And location casting is an entirely different job. It's a kind of a community, and I love that I live in Santa Fe, that I kind of cover the Southwest. But I know all of the great talent between Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Utah, Nevada. And there are so many talented actors and a lot of people that go back and forth and work in LA, of course, and anywhere they can drive their car to as well. So it's different, but it's not terribly different.
So what has been like the most fun you've had working in the industry? Was there a particular project that you were like, this was just really like the holy grail?
I mean, right now I'm working on a series called Reservation Dogs, and I don't know if it's because I'm working on it right now, and it's been my life for the last year and a half or two, actually 2 years with the little COVID hiatus. But I mean, I have really enjoyed it. Great, funny scripts, all Indigenous directors, Native writers room. I mean, the showrunners, Sterling Harjo and Taika Waititi, both freaking hilarious and really intelligent. Um, and just a lot of like grassroots on the ground casting. Uh, Went out to Oklahoma and went out to all the different reservations to find these kids on the reservations. And um, majority of the cast we actually found, I would say half the cast we found that way, which was super scary when I first went to do it. And like, I was like, I don't know if we could, I don't know if this is, I hope it works. And it did. And you just, the characters are just authentic and gritty and real, and they all, I mean, it was just a great kind of lightning struck. And when we found, as we're finding these kids, the writers, the producers, you know, Sterling and his team are all going, okay, now we're kind of shaping the characters to, so that these actors or people that we found to play the characters can kind of really like nurture, you know, the seed that we see in them of like, oh, you'd be funny if you did this, because that's already what's in you. So it's just a really interesting and creative kind of reverse engineering of casting that I've never really had the luxury to work with a team that intimately to do something like that before. And FX was fantastic the whole way. They were like, you go, you do your thing. Because I was like, I don't know. I feel like every turn I was like, I don't know if this is gonna fly. I don't know if this is gonna fly. And at every turn they were like, just do you guys. And it was just so much fun, and I'm so proud of it.
That's awesome. I love the show. I've watched every episode, and it does feel very authentic. And growing up on a reservation myself, I was vice president of the Indian Club in high school. And it's so funny to see like so many things that do resonate and remind me of growing up. And that song, Greasy Fry Bread, I cannot stop singing it. And I had to download it on my phone, and I've been torturing Megan with it. I'm like, you have to hear this song. It's so much fun. And she's like, what is he saying? I'm like, girl, we're going to have some fry bread. I will make you some and you will understand.
And that's a perfect like case in point. We found that guy. Sterling was like, you know, we need like a, you know, like all tatted up and with a grill. And I'm like, okay, and we found him in, oh, I mean, he's from Oklahoma. I mean, we found like the guy that Sterling imagined, and then he was a real rapper. And we're like, you know, the writers were developing a song, and he was like, let me just see what I can do with this rap. I'll have you something by tomorrow. And it was like, there it is, you know. So and you see, it's like just allowing everyone to have creative freedom to develop their own characters, just really fleshed it out.
That is amazing. I love their nuances, things they say, the whole let's go then, you know, let's go then. I say it at home all the time to my son now, and he's like, Mom, really? And I'm like, it's so awesome. They just, I don't know, everything about that show it's perfect timing for it too. I think we really needed something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there anything else that you wanted to cover though?
Yeah, what is your favorite part about casting?
Oh gosh, I mean, I love there's so many different parts, things that I love about it. I love especially working with independent films and writers and directors, like to see the people who are just still like fresh and enthusiastic and driven and excited. I love like just working with them to like bring their vision to life. And I, sometimes I'm working with people who have been developing a script for years and they finally got the funding, and to just like be bringing actors to speak their words and to bring their characters that they imagined to life is so exciting for them. And especially like when we are working on a project where we can put name actors in there that they're like, oh, I always dreamed of working with this person or that person. And for them to be, like I said, like saying my words that I wrote, and they're so excited. And on the flip side too, especially with location casting, I love like giving the part to people, I mean, the actors, I know how hard they work. My family, my husband, daughter are both actors, and so I know like the grind of being an actor. And it's like you put so much work into every audition. You definitely as an actor spend so much more time developing every single character that you audition for than you do on set, it seems like. So it's like it's so rewarding to me too, to like in the more intimate markets, when I am like, you got the job, you
You get a car and you get a car.
Exactly. It's like, you get a role.
That's right.
And when you're doing location casting, it's so many roles. You get a script, there's 35 roles, 5, 6, 7 of them come out of LA. 25, 26, 27 roles are cast in the regional markets. So it's like so many people that are thrilled that their hard work is paying off, and they get to work with, whatever name actors are coming in from LA. I mean, in New Mexico, there's big movies, and people are getting to work with, Tom Hanks and Ron Howard and Tommy Lee Jones and Kate Blanchett and all these like amazing actors. And it's like, you just sent in your audition tape and you worked so hard on it, and now you get to go on set and work with Benicio del Toro on Tuesday. Have a great day, So that's like really rewarding for me too.
Absolutely. That definitely would be, especially when you've seen these people over and over again and you're like dying to cast them for something because you know how hard they work. And when that finally, happens, it's like they're excited, but I know you're probably feeling it too because you've seen the progression of their work over the years. And
exactly. I mean, there's definitely people that I feel like, oh, I'm such a fan of this person, I can't wait to cast them. And a lot of times it doesn't even have anything to do with talent. It's like it just didn't, this wasn't a good fit, or that wasn't a good fit for whatever reason. And you just want to keep bringing them different opportunities because that like one of these is going to work out for you and it's going to be really great. And we just keep doing it, so that is particularly exciting for me.
that is amazing. So last question, and this is the big one on the podcast, is we ask everyone to do a shout out to a badass babe in your world that has done something to help lift you up or elevate you on your journey.
Well, I mean, I would have to shout out my badass babe is my daughter, Amber Midthunder. She just inspires me to like, she's the thing that makes me want to be the best version of myself every day, as a mom. And she, when she was 17, she was like, I mean, we left LA when she was 8 years old because I was like, I don't want to raise my kid in LA. Brought her out to the country. And when she was 17, she was like, I want to go to LA and be an actor. And I was like, anything but that, but I told her, I give you a year that I will go out there with you until you're 18, and I will drive you to your auditions. And when a year is up, I got a job and I'm going back home. And, she kept in the grind, and I don't think it was the first year that it took off for her, but it was like the next year. But she stuck with it and she booked a pilot, and now it's been 4 or 5 years. But she just is shooting right now. I think I'm allowed to say this, Predator 5.
Ooh,
And she's the
nice.
lead. I know, Predator 5, but they kind of revamp it every 5 years or so. It was the original was Schwarzenegger, and then they've done like
Mhm.
Predator versus Alien and whatever. Anyway,
Right.
this version is the first female lead. So she's like the female lead and she gets to go fight the predators. So it's just like
Awesome.
super exciting for me. That I'm so, I'm thrilled for her. She's, like I said, I've seen her work so hard. I think she did her first acting job when she was like 8 or 9. And it's not something that her dad or I ever like. She just saw it. She would like run camera for me in my audition space, and she would
Mhm.
like read. She would be the reader with the actors, and so like in her older teenage years, she would became the reader, and so she just kind of was like, I want to do it. Um, so she, and then like I said, she went out to LA and she learned everything the hard way. But I'm excited for her for that, and for like a female lead in a Predator movie.
Heck yeah, and a Native American female lead.
And Indigenous, yes, an
Hello.
Indigenous storyline, yeah.
Yes, I love that so much, and I love that we're getting more Indigenous storylines. And 'cause there's so many stories out there to be told, and I'm really lucky right now. I'm representing a film for distribution that is Indigenous, and it's such a great story. And I just love that any of the lore that because the best stories and especially the best ghost stories I think come from Indigenous lore. So I just love it.
Interesting. What's the name of it?
It's called The Wendigo.
Oh, I think I did the casting for that.
I think you did.
Yeah. Oh, great.
You're like, wait a minute, I think I did. I'm like, yes, I think you did. So yeah, so I'm really excited that I get to work on a film that you worked on. And
We're working together. Look at us.
yes, and the casting was amazing. The grandma. Oh, the
Can you
grandma is
believe?
everything in that film.
So hard to find. That's the hardest thing when they're like, and we need an elder. I'm like, stop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
talking.
hardest part. But oh man, she was amazing. And I was just like, my son watched it with me when I was screening it to see if I wanted to rep it. And he was like, oh no, this is great. And you need to get it on kill count because then they'll talk about the different kills and then you can, you'll get more promotion from it. I'm like, you're hired. Come to the office with me.
That is the genius of having kids in the office.
Right?
Exactly.
Like they have such a different view of things and what they bring to the table with all of the technology and social media
and they know the young people, like they know who's hip. That's why I used to like my daughter after school, I would pick her up and bring her to the office, and she'd always have ideas, and she always knew talent that I still go to her and I'm like, I know you're busy shooting the Predator, but like I'm building a list right now for a show and I need some ideas.
it's like, who
She's
would you
like
pick?
Halsey, Lord, Taylor Swift, like whatever. Like she knows all the young people.
The hip and happening stuff,
Yes.
Back in the day when I thought I was going to be cool forever, my son's like, no, Mom, just no. It's over. Let it go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Angelique
Thank you so
Midthunder.
much.
Oh, I was fangirling when I heard that Megan got you for the
She
podcast.
was.
I was like, wait, what?
I was like, you can do most of the talking. I know you love her.
I've heard so much about you, and it's just so funny. Like this last year, with being involved with Red Nation, and I don't know if your ears were burning, but they were talking about you at the awards this year a lot.
Oh,
So,
that's so nice. Well,
yeah.
thank you. I'm excited to be a part of everything that's going on in the world right now. It's an exciting time.
It is. It definitely is. It's like we have bad things going on, but the amount of good things happening, I think are definitely going to outweigh them, and we're going to have so much more fun.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
We hope to see you soon. And if we end up in New Mexico, we will definitely look you up.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Our show's sponsor today is Roasted Luxury. And this coffee is so freaking good. I can't even begin to tell you. You'll never have to leave home again for coffee. And it's organic, fair trade, and small business, which you know we love. This is a good thing. They offer honey processed coffee, which means that the coffee is naturally sweeter. So you badass babes can add less sugar and have that second or third cup without the guilt, which we also love. Go to roastedluxury.com and use promo code BABES15 for 15% off your entire order. And you can feel good about helping a local business person who is also a badass babe. Yes. So thanks so much to Roasted Luxury for being our very first sponsor on Badass Babes of Entertainment. Hey guys, welcome to the Badass Babes of Entertainment. And we went to Malibu for a really cool event called Meet in Malibu. And we had a lot of fun interviewing some amazing badass babes out there and finding out some really interesting things about people that we met for the first time. Check it out. Welcome to the Badass Babes of Entertainment. I'm Brenda Fisher.
And I'm Tara Newell.
And we're here with Ashley Pater. She is a singer-songwriter from Vancouver, Canada. Hi, Ashley.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
So tell us about you and how you got started in the music industry.
Well, it actually started with this TV show. It's called Why TV's the Next Star, and it was a youth talent search across Canada. And so I watched it as a kid. I think I was 8 at the time, and I was obsessed with the show. And I always thought they were paid extras. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. I want to go do it, but they're all fake. Anyway, and then the next year I found out they were real kids. So I told my family all about it. And next thing I knew, we were 51st in line. And my career kind of started from there. I picked up a vocal coach, picked up guitar, piano, and all these kinds of instruments. And now I'm a recording artist in the festival circuit.
Nice.
I love that.
That is very cool. So you grew up in Vancouver.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have the most amazing coloring. I know our guests cannot see it, but she's gorgeous.
Thank
so
you.
what is your ethnic makeup?
I'm Chinese and Dutch.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
It's always interesting when you know, we're all a mix of something. And it's like, for me, I have a hard time figuring out what people are because you could look, you look Native American.
Yeah, I kind of pass through everything.
Yeah. You're very, they call it ethnically ambiguous in the acting industry. So
Yeah, it's perfect. I act as well, so it comes in
there
handy.
you go. Perfect.
Perfect.
So what are your goals and, what are you hoping to do out here in LA?
Well, I've been making lots of new connections here at Meet in Malibu, and it has been very good. I'm also down doing some photo shoots and some meetings and visiting some friends and enjoying the sun, because where I'm from, there's barely any sun.
Yes.
And it's no fun.
Yes, that's
Look
the
at
one
that.
great
It rhymes.
thing about California, LA, all the areas around here, the beaches. It's just so beautiful, and you can do 5 million different things. There's so much to do here.
Exactly.
And, and most days are sunny. We really don't have a ton of gloomy days here, which is amazing. And I think everybody is probably more positive because of it. So,
Yeah.
definitely.
We hope so. Gorgeous.
We hope so, yeah.
Yeah, right?
So what has been the, I guess the biggest thing for you, or the thing that has stood out the most since you've been here?
Since I've been here, well, I actually got in last night.
Oh, wow.
So I gotta say, this event.
Yeah, you're like, this event on
Yeah,
the beach.
we're
is
just getting
great.
started here in LA. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you're brand new to LA.
I am.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, yes.
Do you think that you'll ever move out this way?
You know what? It's kind of looking like it. I mean, with your weather and your people and the music scene down here, I don't know. I'm thinking one day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
what festivals have you guys, what festivals have you performed at and whatnot?
Oh, I've done a whole bunch. The most recent one's coming up. Well, it's Canada Day on July 1st.
Okay.
So I actually have 4 gigs that day. So it's going to be a lot of driving and performing, but I'm very pumped. I'll be doing 4 shows as soon as I get back home.
Love that.
That is awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you came out to this event and we got to meet you.
Yeah.
And we'll be watching to see what you do. Do you want to do a shout out and give us all of your social media handles so we can follow you?
Sure thing. Well, actually, I'll make it really easy. You can go to ashleypater.com, where Pater is spelled later, except the L is a P.
I love it.
I'm well rehearsed.
That works, absolutely. And then the big question that we always ask our guests is to do a shout out to a badass babe in your world that has helped inspire you and lift you up.
I gotta say my mom.
I love that.
Right on.
She's as badass as it gets.
Yes, moms are definitely badass.
Exactly.
For sure. So awesome. Well, thank you, Ashley. We really enjoyed having you, and we hope that we will see you again soon and you get to come back to LA.
Yeah,
Sounds
thank you
good.
so much for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. All right, welcome to the Badass Babes of Entertainment. I'm Brenda Fisher,
And I'm Tara Newell.
and we are here with Natasha Pearl Hansen.
Hi guys, yes, it's fun to be here.
So you are a stand-up comic, is that correct?
I am, amongst some other things, but that's main one.
Nice. So tell us about what else you do.
Well, that's layered. I guess I've always had a very businessy approach to entertainment, so which you have to. Especially as a woman, I guess
Yes,
it's very...
absolutely.
Whenever I talk to men, I'm not making this about that, of course, because I have tons of amazing male friends, but when I tell them everything that I do and other women do, they're like, why do you do so much? And I'm like, because we have to.
We do.
Right.
We just have to. So I have a production company in a very unique way that I tour and collaborate with brands and startups and apps, and then that forayed into a big intersection of entertainment and technology for me.
Wow.
And so ended up launching my first tech company last year.
Amazing.
And I work with some others, and so I kind of have a cross entertainment technology brand.
That is so cool.
I love that.
You know, it just amazes me sometimes as we're, fighting with technology and we're like, how the heck do you do this? And then we talk to somebody, I started a tech company, and I'm like, oh, lordy.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to do. I mean, because you work so hard in entertainment to get the connections you need to just have an umbrella of people you can work with and reach out to, and then you move into another space and you don't know anybody, and you're like, oh, this is square one again. This is great. And but then you forget you already have a network of people that know people, and it's not as hard as you think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I feel like, I've known you at least like from circles. We haven't met in person. Well, maybe we did, but
We
drinks.
we were out.
Briefly.
But there's so many people that you can connect with, especially LA. It's such a small circle. Mm-hmm. And you don't realize that till you're here.
A degree of separation from anybody you could want to know.
Yes.
I mean, it's just really a small, big town.
It really is. And especially when you look at somebody's social media and you're like, wait, they're friends with people I know. And so how do you know them? And so it's always interesting to, don't step on the puppy. Don't step on the puppy.
We're podcasting live from a zoo.
Yeah.
Kind of is a human zoo, but it's
From
fun.
Meet Us in
Little dog got
Meet in
very
Malibu.
indignant.
Yeah, Malibu. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to other women, just starting out in the industry or trying to figure out what it is that they want to do? Or
I mean, it's always, maybe this isn't the best advice, but it's good advice, so listen to it. Don't give yourself goals, but don't give yourself harsh goals and timelines, because you never know when you're open to stuff what kind of other doors are going to open, and you'll all of a sudden think, oh, this is something I wouldn't have thought to explore.
Right.
I have conversations with a lot of successful people that are doing the thing they thought they wanted to do and discovered during that process that something else was really the thing that they wish they could be doing.
right.
So we always, it's tough with people in entertainment because the grass always seems greener.
Yeah.
I think we just kind of have that syndrome.
Yes.
So, it's just important to be where you are, be open, explore opportunities, have conversations with people, and be curious so you can actually learn about what people are up to and maybe even find yourself somewhere you didn't expect.
That's great advice. So how did you get into comedy?
I was pre-med, and in college, my minor was theater.
Okay.
It was like my reprieve from the crazy levels of science and psychology and stuff.
Right.
And I would find myself kind of mocking theater people, like in my performances in theater. So I was kind of doing this meta, like, not. And my teachers caught on and were like, you should do improv. And so I left school after 2 years to do improv at Second City in Chicago.
Wow.
And did the conservatory there. And during that time, I also found myself mocking a lot of improv people. And I was like, I think I'm supposed to do stand-up. And so I ended up, I also bartended across the street from the improv place. And so I had to like see improv from the external point of view as well. And I was like, oh my gosh. So there was something very appetizing about being a person on your own island in that regard of like, okay, I can conduct myself without a pack of humans around me and be responsible for myself on stage. If I fail, then I failed by myself and I can figure it out. Or if I succeed, I can succeed by myself and I can feel that too, you know? And so started doing stand-up in 2010.
Okay.
And then moved to LA in 2011.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then you've done a European tour also.
Yes. I've done 2.
Okay, tell us about that.
The first one was I just wanted to go to Europe. And again, like I said, I'm, have always kind of created my tours, not always, but the last maybe 6 years because I don't like being at the mercy of other people's schedules and, whatever they want me to do. So I produced that tour with another comedian. We sat and did it every day for a couple months by ourselves. I got us all the venues and the venue contracts. We scouted hotels together, curated hotel brand partnership deals with all hotels through Europe. So we didn't pay for a single hotel. We created content throughout Europe. We had vendor contracts in each country. And we were on our own schedule, and we left downtime in the middle to be able to explore, and we co-headlined, and we had a lot of fun, and it was amazing. It was really fulfilling, tons of work, but like very fulfilling because we did all ourselves. And then later that year, I got asked to do an Armed Forces tour. So that one was fully taken care of for me. I just had to wake up and follow schedule. So 2 very different ends of the spectrum.
So that's probably kind of nice.
Kind of nice, honestly, to just have people tell you what to do and give you money to do it. It was kind of the dream, but
that is the dream.
You do the first to get the latter. You do the hustle so that those things come into the mix as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So how would a conversation start if you were trying to get a hotel to, collab with you so you didn't have to pay when you were touring? Like, how would you even start that conversation with them?
I don't even know how to tell other people to do it because I've tried and it doesn't pan out the same for everybody. But right now I have an international deal with the Moxie brand. So I just got back from working with them in New York.
Cool.
I've worked with them in South Beach a couple of times recently and originally started working with them in Chicago. So whenever I approach a brand, I'm coming at them with a multifaceted way to work together.
Okay.
I offer them exposure in multiple different channels and exposure to other brands that they might want to work with. And also bring brands into those, like hotels are great places because I have connections with so many amazing beverage brands and things like that I've like brought into hotels. I got them deals at those hotels. Like they're now at those hotels. And so I did that with Vegas too. I wanted to create my own Vegas show. I created a Vegas residency myself and I brought like 15 brands in, and one of them was a liquor brand that was looking to get exposure in the Vegas market, could not get in. And so I brought them in and now they're sold in Vegas, and I kind of learned how to broker some of these deals and reap a little bit of a benefit, but then step away and let everybody benefit on their own. And so these like multiply symbiotic relationships that I build is kind of how I craft my reach outs. No promises ever, but I just have such a great track record of making a lot of people a lot of money that I have legs to stand on. I'm not just coming at them saying, I'm an influencer. I want to take some pictures in your hotel and stay for free. Like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I say, I'm going to get some stuff for you. When I partner with somebody, I partner for life, and I'll make sure to make you guys happy that we did.
That is so cool.
I love that.
Yeah. Wow. That is really cool because, you do hear about influencers that just do, certain things or the minimums, but it really sounds like you dig in.
I dig in.
Yeah.
Because I like people to succeed. There's a lot of brands that I really love, and if I'm working with somebody, I want them to feel like I'm bringing something to the table, just in exchange, like a very loose, constant moving exchange of things. So now I have these relationships that are great, and then we set up like multifaceted events. Like the one I just did in South Beach was for me as a stand-up, also for my tech company, and then brands that I thought would be great collaborative partners for my tech company. So yeah, bringing a lot of people together in one place.
So when you say tech company, define that for me. What is your tech?
It's technically e-commerce mixed with fintech. So 2019, I shot my first comedy special, and it was shot on my canceled wedding day.
Oh.
So I quickly turned, like in a couple weeks, turned it around, renegotiated with the venue, got a camera crew, sent tickets out to my entire invite list and their plus ones, made them buy tickets to come see me. I sold it out, and then got exactly the money it cost me to film from ticket sales, and then brokered the deal and got it with Amazon, so it's on Amazon Prime.
Wow.
And then when it launched, I launched my breakupregistry.com, which is a crowdfunding and gift registry platform for people going through breakups.
I love that. I love that.
Cool.
I'm like, oh Lord, I love that.
So I built that in the pandemic, put about like 30 grand of my own money to have an MVP web app built. MVP being like the more basic version of what I'd planned to build. And then this last year, I've been doing product market fit. I have a couple investors interested, but I don't just take people's money, because in entertainment, you know, if you just take people's money, you owe it back and then some.
Yep.
And so I've always funded everything myself.
Yes.
I will hustle and pay for things myself, and then I own them. And so
Yep. Sometimes it's just easier.
It's easier, honestly. You don't want people's money.
Yeah.
Screw them. Don't wait for them.
You don't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah. And so built that, and then the next iteration of the company is going to involve tying in a lot of wellness, fitness, and health brands to allow people to be able to heal properly after a breakup. So it's kind of transcending markets. So it's cool because the collaborative mindset that I have, I'm now able to kind of scout brands that I want to bring into a portfolio of brands and be able to offer them a space on my platform to not take money from them, to just give them exposure and try to push people to finding the right ways to fix themselves after a trauma. It's a relationships ending is trauma.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you were planning on getting married. I mean, that's a pretty big commitment.
It was a trauma, and we ended it right before the pandemic, so it was like trauma on trauma at that juncture. And so, but a lot of people went through that. That pandemic was really hard on a lot of relationships. A lot of people ended them, and so I saw this need for a market where there was all these people registering for weddings and nobody to help people when they needed it most, when they're entering the world alone again.
Wow. So when you do a registry for a breakup, what does that normally look like?
So right now, and this is what the product market fit time has been like. So right now it's, if you break up with somebody, you create a registry. You can register for items, or you can register for crowdfunding, and you send it out to your network of people. So you're not going to strangers and telling your story. You're just going to your friends and family and saying, hey, I need some help. I need a new couch. I need this. I need that. So I've been looking for partners to add into the website, different, like, not the mainstream wedding type of brands like Bed Bath & Beyond and stuff like that, but really niche brands with female founders, a lot of female founders, a lot of diversity, people that I really want to see exposed in that platform. Nice. And it's been a really cool journey to find those people. And then so also next, I'd done a couple live events that were like multi-day with Moxie as a partnership, and we did like mixers, and women got to know each other and really talk about their like experiences. This was like divorcees, young girls that just gone through breakup, the whole kind of spectrum. And it made me start to realize that not everybody has the ability to travel to these kinds of things, or you might be losing out on some larger markets. So my next movement is moving into some of the VR and AR space, so that we can actually open up like sound baths and healing seminars for people that are online, so people from all over can join, and at a really accessible price point.
That's awesome. I know that we've actually had those conversations because Tara is kind of, in that space as well, dealing with, healing from trauma and those types of things. And she's, all about that as well. So I think that's really great. And I think we need to have more of that and more, collaboration with women.
Yeah. Well, and it's something people don't want to talk about and be open about. Generally, I think it's changing, but the change happens slowly. And we're in this era of people feeling a lot of feels because we've been through a lot. Our world is in a lot of collapse right now, and people don't feel like they can share what's going on in their personal lives because there's so much other so many other issues to digest.
Yes.
Yeah. And there needs to be space held for those things, and there needs to be a focus on, this isn't the era where you go out and party off a breakup anymore. This is the era where you sit with yourself and fix things and really figure out what the trauma did to you and heal and feel better inside and out. And that comes from doing a lot of different things, but definitely finding the right people to attach to those. It's been cool. It's been a good conversation to have with a lot of women.
That is amazing. So, big question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
We have everyone do a shout out to a badass babe in their world that's
oh my God,
inspire them and lift them up.
Yes, I have so many. I don't even know where to start. So a couple of them are on the way now to meet me here. One of them is Courtney Sherman. Oh, I can't even talk about her without crying. She's one of my best friends. She's an incredible, we met in stand-up, but she's an actress and just put on the most amazing one-woman show that just went through her second run in Los Angeles, and she's about to do a run in New York.
Wow.
It's an incredible show. I've never experienced
And what's it called?
something so wonderful. It's called Holding Court.
Okay.
And it's based on her life and all her traumas as well. And it's just beautifully done. A mix of comedy, drama. You just feel it all. So she's on the way, and I'm just so proud of her. And one of my girlfriends, Ariel Kashanchi, she's another comedian as well. Do you know Ariel?
Yes, I know Ariel.
She's on the way. And she's also been through a lot. She's had just her life, like, if you ever were to sit with her and learn about her life, you'd be like, how are you even still standing? It's just been a really rough, and she just went through brain surgery, and she's just a fucking champion. She's a champion. And they are always there for me. So I'll shout those two out.
Awesome. That is so cool. And I love to hear, women that have had, medical issues bouncing back, because I can really relate with that.
Yeah. I mean, I only know, being her close friend, I only know the surface of what she's been going through, because she also just doesn't want to burden people with it.
Right.
It's funny with friendships, because as a friend, you're like, burden me, but she just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And so, I can't even imagine what it's like to be just dealing with a lot of that stuff on your own, just trying not to burden people with it,
Yeah. Or trying to make light of it, or hey, I've moved on, I'm fine. And,
trying to find reasons to push forward.
Yes.
It's hard for people sometimes to figure out why am I still here? A lot of people ask themselves that question.
Right.
And then you just have to say, I'm here for a reason. And I keep telling her, I'm like, you're going to inspire so many people one day, because people have gone through something like you, and you have a voice to share that,
And I don't think we talk about that enough. I think women, because we do juggle so many things, and it's like work and kids and, whatever else we're doing, that we just push our own issues kind of to the side.
Yeah.
And really don't share as much as we probably should.
Yeah, there's that fear of overshare. I've been guilty of it in the past. I mean, especially going through a breakup, or even just getting into a new relationship that I'm in now, where you might feel like you should share things, and then, there's that element of what's going on in your life that should be kept private. And so it's striking that balance can be difficult, but we have to be open at least about what things make us feel like.
Right.
Instead of putting somebody else, kicking them down and talking about what somebody did, you can always talk about how you're feeling, and that's okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And so that's kind of been my focus, is like I get to talk about this. This is my experience. I don't have to talk about who affected me that way. That way I'm not talking about anybody.
Right.
But I can just share how I'm feeling because of this thing, and that's more than fair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't think that there is an overshare, because there's so many
Right.
people that would love people to talk about what they've been through because they can relate, like, me too. You know, I've actually done that too. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You know, because people, I think, are afraid sometimes to talk about things that have happened to them. And,
Yeah.
you know, and especially with women and us being more supportive of each other, I think these days than ever before, you know, this is the time for us to really kind of lock arms, join hands, and help each other out.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. Like, I started doing these women in comedy mixers. Like, that's how I got to be really close with these girls. Just for fun, once a month, I found a Isabel, this beautiful venue in West Hollywood.
Okay.
And they were hosting them because I was like, we all are around each other all the time, don't know shit about each other, and it's too easy for people to be, you know, whispers about so-and-so. I'm like, we just need to unite.
Yep.
And it's not like a boys versus girls club, but I've seen it too much in Hollywood, especially, where women are like, yeah, I support women, and then I know that they don't.
Right.
Because they actually don't.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't do that. If you've got to have integrity, it's like being a vegan but wearing sweatshop clothing. Like,
Yeah.
you've got to be thorough about what you're doing
Yeah.
and the message that you're sending to people.
You got to walk the talk.
Yes. So support women and
Yes.
do it actually. If you say you're
Yeah.
going to do something, do it. And otherwise, don't talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't take credit for it if you're not doing it, people. Come
Yeah,
on.
exactly. Exactly.
Well, that's awesome. You know, it's so cool that you stopped by. I know Tara was talking about you before and how great you are. And
I wasn't planning on this, but I'm so glad I did too.
Well, I like, you know, we have so many mutual connections. And I'm like, I like her energy just because of those connections.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And
So-
what a better place, you know, to be than on the Badass Babes of Entertainment, because you are a badass.
Yes.
Thank you. You guys are too. It makes sense that you have this podcast.
It's fun. It's fun, and this is our way of reaching out and helping to support other women and getting their
Yep.
their message out and what
Amen.
they, you know, their information and sharing that with other women. And it's really turned into something that I think we're really proud of.
Yeah. Killing it, ladies. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Absolutely. We can't wait to meet your
on.
friends too.
I know. Yeah.
This episode was produced by me, Megan Ketz.
And me, Brenda Fisher.
Thanks to our Grammy-nominated sound engineer, Herman Villacorta. We have another amazing guest next week, so be sure to listen. If there's a topic you would like us to cover, message us on Instagram at Babes of Entertainment, also on Facebook, Babes of Entertainment, and on Twitter, Babe_podcast.
And now TikTok, Babes of Entertainment on TikTok. Woo, woo, woo. This podcast was produced by RSA Entertainment and Rogue Matter. Join the movement. Go Rogue.
Bad girl with a good heart. Lost boy got a fresh start. And she's my gasoline. Slick chrome on the Mustang. Drop top, no we don't play. 'Cause I'm her nicotine.